Anytime a new set releases, Mono Red comes in and just stomps on everybody trying to play the new cards. But now we're going to have on the 30th a standard rotation, which means a bunch of sets are rotating out. Bloomburrow's coming in, and Mono Red is exceedingly well positioned to dominate in the upcoming standard and beyond. So let's take a look. This is what I'm calling rotation proof red. Welcome to the Attic Mana Deck. Here, it's the channel where we explore what's fun in Magic, mostly on Arena. Right now, best of one, the number 2 deck, according to the stats on untapped.gg, is this mono red deck right here. Bant Toxic is number 1, apparently. But we're looking at mono red. Mono red, as I said, usually performs well, and we're not actually losing that many cards out of the top mono red deck. We're going to lose Sokenzin in the mana base, easily replaceable, doesn't make a big impact in most games. Kumano faces Kazakhstan, probably the biggest loss here. There's not anything that's really like comes down, does damage, buffs creatures, flips into a creature itself, does some exiling from the graveyard kind of stuff. That's rough. Play with fire, we can just replace with shock. Shock is in standard right now. And then we're losing Bloodthirsty Adversary, but we do have some 2-drop hasty creatures that probably aren't quite as good as Bloodthirsty Adversary, but they're decent enough. So we'll talk about that when we look at the final deck. And other than that, that is all that's being lost here. And we'll talk about what we're going to replace it with over here. If you want to build your own rotation-proof deck, maybe not even necessarily mono-red, I'll just show you this real quick. What you want to do, come into the filters, format standard. You want to select everything but these last 4 sets, okay? This is what's rotating out. Streets of New Capenna, Kamigawa Neo Dynasty, Innistrad Crimson Vow, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So new sets are getting added to standard, and it used to be a 2-year rotation, now it's a 3-year rotation. So if you've been away, that's the update. But you would do this. You go like that, and then you could see, and you could page through what's available, what cards are actually in standard. And if I've done this right, and I did screw up when I did the mono black version, but I've made a corrected version, then this mono red deck right here is completely rotation proof, including the sideboard. Everything in the sideboard. We're playing best of one. So let's take a look at it and see what we've got. We still got Swift Spear. We still got Monstrous Rage. We're going to put in shocks instead of the play with fire. Now, for Kumano, there's not a great replacement. It's nice to have something that's pinging, dealing damage, and then flips into a hasty creature and has the exile effects. Right now, I'm going with some demonic ruckuses. Okay, so this is, in case you don't know, it's from Outlaws of Thunder Junction, so relatively new. It's an enchant creature. You can plot it for 1 red. So if you're willing to wait a turn on it, and often we are because we have hasty creatures, then we can do that. We also are losing the 2-mana hasty guy. I'm blanking on the name. You know what it is, and you can pay 3 and cast a thing from your graveyard. You get a 2/2 haste. So we do have some 2-drop hastes that are legal. Charming Scoundrel has been played a lot in mono red. Fugitive Codebreaker is being played a ton now. I've done a 2-2 split on that. We'll see how that goes. We still get to keep 1 Feldon Ronom Excavator, 4 Lightning Strikes, 4 Slickshot Show-Offs. They had the top deck here had 4 Urabrask's Forge. I did a little bit of a split. I'm keeping 1 Godric and the Urabrask 4. Godric works very nicely with the Charming Scoundrel and the Demonic Ruckus. So I'm going to play that for now and see how it goes. We also have Witchstalker Frenzy. We've lost Sokenzin in the mana base, so I'm just throwing in a Mirex instead of the Sokenzin. So we get 4 Mistress Boundaries and a Mirex to deal with, the control decks that are out there. And taking a look here, we're at 24 lands with this mono red deck, which is interesting. But you can see that that when you sort by on untapped.gg, when you sort by win rate, this is kind of the mana base that is winning right now. So we'll see. But I think this should be decently strong headed into rotation. Bloomburrow is going to add some more strong red cards. Maybe at the end of the video, we'll take a look at what Bloomburrow is offering. But for now, let's take this to the ladder and see how it performs. Mono red aggro. It is what it is. Up against Heliotrope. Keepable. We wouldn't mind drawing a third land with this hand. Swift Spear. Coming at you. So the Scoundrel is good to play after the Godric. So we'll play the Codebreaker here. They don't have removal. Worried they would have cut down. Which, despite what I first thought, is still going to be hanging around in Standard. Oh, okay, we got a Mishra's Foundry. Well, we'll try playing Godric. Because they got removal. It's hitting Godric right now. Okay. So they may have the enchantment that takes all mana value 2 or less. Nope, Celestis. Okay. Well, Call attack. Blockers. Lightning bolt your face. That's what I thought. barely resistance. Up against Pointed Line. Mono red aggro, rotation free. Seems keepable. We'd love to get that third land for a Forge on curve. So let's get it started. Getting the party started here. Mono black. Gonna remove. No. Gonna duress. What do they take? Probably the show off. No, they take the Forge. Interesting. Well, they must have plenty of removal then. They can't remove both of these guys. Looks like they can't. Set up for a pretty big hit here. Question is, do we just Charming Scoundrel? Huh. Discard the mountain. Kind of think we do. And what does opponent got here? Welcoming Vampire. Okay, well, we have the ability to fight through that. Let's just go to combat. See if they try to block. They know we've got Monstrous Rage, so they probably don't. No, they do. Happy to trade. They're vampires now. They're all rotating. Go to 8, and we will plot the Demonic Ruckus. We're in good shape. We can play this Ruckus, play this Ruckus. Double Prowess. Creature of the Schism. Okay. We got a land. If I play this Ruckus, I guess we get to draw a card with this, so. And opponent scoops it up. Maybe had lethal no matter what if we played it on the... Somebody do the calculations. Leave a comment. Okay. Playing on my free spells account, as you can see. It's the account where I don't put any money in, so this is totally doable as a budget deck, as a free-to-play player. I wouldn't call it a budget deck necessarily, actually. Has enough rares. I try to say 10 rares or fewer. 10 rares or mythics or fewer. That's kind of my budget limit. But what do we got? We got Swift Spear into Swift Spear, Ruckus. Not the best, but we are going first, which is always a great place to be if you're mono red. Now, maybe we were supposed to plot Ruckus and then double Swift Spear, drop a Ruckus. I think that's actually what we were supposed to do. I haven't played with Ruckus yet. So, that's not smart. And another land is bad. Here we go. If they tap out, it's game on. We're coming in hot. If they don't tap out, we're in trouble. We need to draw some gas because a bunch of lands ain't gonna help mono red. Ooh, Witchstalker Frenzy's nice. Okay, so let's say they have the play with fire or the shock. 2 damage spell. Nope, they don't. Okay. All the better. Do I just take out Charming Scoundrel now? Guess we'll just hold up Lightning Strike. Okay. I'll block you on a block. Too bad, so sad. A defensive Monstrous Rage. Sorry, opponent. Squeeze not bad. Squeeze good. I think we might just be far enough ahead. Let's see. Well, we'll just keep drawing lands, though. Do this. We hit them for 5. Or it could be 8 to the face. Yeah, we just got to get Squee off the board because we're just drowning in lands. This game's going to go longer than I was hoping. Maybe it was a mistake to run 24 lands. It's what the good decks are doing, but not helping here. Felden. And with his cane, of course. Played a lot of Felden's cane back in the day. Leave a comment if you remember Felden's cane. Who's boomer enough to remember the old Felden's cane? Okay, well, double spelling, hitting us hard. Basically have to come up with 8 damage here. And I believe we did. Wow. GG's. Woo! Oh! Okay, I'll take it. Okay, thanks for sticking around. You can jump ahead if you just want to see the win rate of the deck that you just watched, but I just thought I'd throw in a little browse of the red cards coming out with Bloomburrow. We're here on Scryfall. You can do set BLB, color equals R. We can see here we got Agate Assault, 4 damage to a creature, and it could exile, or you can get an artifact. Possible sideboard card there. Alania's Pathmaker, 4/2 Wizard Otter for 4. No, that's a limited card. Artist Talent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you may discard a card. If you do draw a card, that could be decent, although it's already 2 mana to put down. Then you can make non-creature spells cost less. I don't think so. I think this looks like a a storm card maybe. Blacksmith's Talent. So here's maybe a possible replacement for Kumano Faces Kazakan. You get 1 mana. You get an equipment that equips for 2. That's a +1/+1. And then for 3 mana, you can get a free equip. And for another 4 mana, equip creatures, you can roll a double strike and haste. Hey, I mean, that's possible win condition. I don't think that's the best, but could get a look. So 2 mana, gift a treasure, deal 2 damage to a creature or 3 damage to the creature's or with an additional 3 damage to the creature's controller. If you did the gift, that's a possibility. Being able to do 2 damage to a creature and then 3 to face, definitely a sideboard possibility. Brambleguard Captain, a 2/3 for 4. No. Brazen Collector, 2/1 first strike. Whenever it attacks, you can add red, and you get to spend it. That's okay. It would be better if it had haste. I don't think it makes the cut. Byway Barterer, a 3/3 menace for 3. Whenever you expend 4, which means you've paid 4 total mana during your turn, you can discard, draw 2. I don't think that replaces the whatever it's called, the 2/1 guy that you can play as a morph. Conduct Electricity. 6 damage to target creature, 2 damage for up to 1 target creature token. No. Limited card. Coruscation Mage. 2/2 with an Offspring 2. And it's going to deal damage when you cast non-creature spells. That is a possibility. That's definitely a possibility. Dragonhawk Fate's Tempest. 5/5 for 5. Probably not. Emberheart Challenger. 2/2 haste. Now this is what I'm talking about. So 2/2 haste and prowess. This is definitely in the consideration. And then has Valiant. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn, exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. So working great with that Demonic Embrace. Festival of Embers. During your turn, you may cast instant sorcery spells from your graveyard by paying 1 life in addition to other costs. No. Flames Cash Gecko. Probably not. Although it does let you potentially chain off. Maybe there's a black-red aggro deck that works in. Flame Lash, 4 damage to any target. No. Brilled Spark Shooter. No. I'm just already safe. It's 4 mana. It's probably a no. We're capping out at 3 mana here. Whenever you cast a non-creature or otter spell, you may exile the top card of your library until end of turn. You may play that card. It triggers only once each turn. That's an uncommon. That's, for an artisan deck, you would definitely consider that. I don't know about for... it's probably just the 1/4 stats is not aggro enough for just a regular deck. But we got Heartfire Hero, Mouse Soldier. It's a 1/1 that can get a +1/+1 counter when it gets targeted. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to each opponent. Great. There's already decks that are using that kind of thing, that kind of strategy. You've got a 2/3 haste for 3. Whenever player casts their second spell, it deals 2 damage. Definite sideboard possibility. Hearthborn Battler, I'm liking that. Hired Claw, so 1/2 for 1 mana. And if you can get more than 1 lizard, or actually no, as long as it's attacking, you're going to get an extra damage when it attacks. That's pretty good. And you can put a +1/+1 counter on it. That's great. That's definitely in the conversation as well, the Hired Claw. They're not messing around with mono red, this set. Hoarder's Overflow. And there's when you spend 4, you put a stash counter, sacrifice it, discard your hand, draw cards equal to the stash counter. No, that's a limited card. Kindle Spark Duo. Deals 1 damage to opponent whenever it casts a non-creature. It untaps. Yeah, limited, but cool. Kind of build around a pingers deck. Love pingers. Love those Prodigal Sorcerer effects. In combat on your turn, target mouse you control gains your choice of Double Strike or Trample. And it's got the Offspring. For 4 mana, you get 2 1/2s that can gain Double Strike or Trample. I'm just not feeling that. Might of the Meek. Target creature gains Trample until end of turn, gets +1/+0. If you control a mouse, draw a card. Maybe. Ancestral Anger is rotating, so if you're an Ancestral Anger, if you're looking for something to replace Ancestral Anger and you have mice, Playful Shove, 1 damage, draw a card. Could be sideboard. Probably not, but could be. 5/5 Reach Trample Haste for 5. That's pretty gnarly and limited, but I don't think we're getting there. Rabid Gnaw. Target creature you control gets +1/+0 until end of turn that deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Bite Spell? Probably not. We've got better options here in mono red where we can go face or hit a creature with them. Raccoon Rallier. Target creature you control gains haste. Activate only as a sorcery. Nope. Reptilian Recruiter. Nope. Roughshod Duo. 3/2 trample. Whenever you expend, target creature gets +1/+1 against trample. Probably not, but kind of cool. Sazakap's Brew. 2 mana instant. You gift a tapped fish, which is a 1/1 blue fish creature token. And you have to discard a card. And you get to draw 2, and if you did the gift thing, creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. I mean, mono red might play that. I think it's not costed quite as aggressively as you would like, but Season of the Bold. No, it's just going to be too expensive. Maybe for different red decks, but not that. It's 2/1 Offspring. When it dies, 1 damage to target player. Maybe for a budget deck, but no. Storm Splitter, no. Lynx, no. Well, actually, Lynx could definitely be sideboard. It's a 5/4. Players can't gain life. Damage can't be prevented. And when it enters, it deals damage to each player equal to the number of non-basic lands. That's a strong sideboard contender. Take out the trash. 3 damage to creature or planeswalker. If you control a raccoon, you get to loot. That's consideration. Not a ton of consideration, but some. Teapot Slinger, 3/4 menace for 4 now. Valley Flamecaller. It's gonna buff up your mice, otters, and raccoons and lizards. Maybe if you're just doing a mono red like all built around Bloomburrow, you would definitely throw this in, I think. Valley Rally, Gift of Food. You'd probably never want to gift of food, but this is going to give you your creatures +2/+0. You don't need to give them first strike a lot of the time. I guess in the cases where you do give them first strike, you are fine with the food, so that's not bad. War Squeak. Enchant creature, it enters target creature opponent controls can't block. +1/+1 and haste. All our creatures already have haste, so that's probably not it. Whisker Quill Scribe. Becomes the target of a spell or ability you control for the first time each turn. You may discard a card if you do draw a card. Okay. Limited card, but cool. And then Wildfire Howl, 2 damage to each creature. If the gift was promised, it deals 1 damage to any target and 2 damage to each creature. Possible sideboard, but this is more likely going to wipe your whole board, so no. Anyways, it's some interesting stuff coming down the pipe for Bloomburrow. Stick around. Hopefully I'm going to get out a limited review for Bloomburrow for all you that play limited. I like to do a limited breakdown and get ready for a new set. So that's my plan for the next thing to do. But right now I'm going to get out this video and you can watch the wrap up. Okay, well, 60% win rate. That's pretty much in line, a little bit below what we could expect from the deck we were based on. 75% on the play, 0% on the draw. What that really means is we were only on the draw once. The 2 games we lost, though, we got bad draws against control. So it is what it is. Overall, I think decent performance. I think you might want to balance out with Demonic Ruckus how many creatures you have in the deck. We might want some creatures that are 1 mana, maybe the Flaming Chicken or something. The Witchstalker Frenzies weren't super useful. Urbrask's Forge, we never got to go off with that, so that was unfortunate. I did like having Godric as a possible, so I like that split, just in terms of how it performed here. And other than that, Shock is worse than the play with fire, but not considerably. So it's interesting. There was a time we drew too many Mishra's Foundries. I think just again bad variance. It's only 26 minutes or 27 minutes to play 5 games, and we did rank up. So I think overall this is a decent deck for ranking up. And your performance has a chance of being much better than mine. Okay, check out the other videos that YouTube thinks you will like. And this is Mana Dad reminding you, Magic is a game so fun, even dads can enjoy it. Adios.